Welcome to Tourism Talk. I'm your host, Mary Hammond of the Paducah Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I'm excited that we have our annual springtime filming here with Bonnie Browning, Executive Show Director for the American Quilters Society. Welcome, Bonnie. It's good to see you.
Oh, well, do you know what? We've been working on this show for a long time, so now we're ready to tell everybody about it.
We're ready for show and tell today, and 25th anniversary of the Quilt Show. It just seems like, I don't know, 25. I almost have to sit and count. And you've been here for 15 of those years.
This is the 15th year.
Well, I'm very proud, and I'm to have the Quilt Show here in Paducah, to have 25 years. Gosh, it may be the second largest show in the country, but it's the most popular show with any quilter that you talk to.
Oh, it is. You know, right now the quilters are still calling to register, and even though most of our classes are filled, we still have quite a few events and lectures that they can attend. They are so excited about coming to Paducah, and they've already picked out where they're going to eat, and you know,
they really have.
They're waiting for the list for the church dinners and all of those kinds of things. They're ready to come visit us again.
Well, like you said, it started the day after the Quilt Show last year. Planning for this year, the Visitors Bureau always does like a preliminary piece that we hand out when we go to the Nashville show last year that just has down and dirty facts. So they've known, the quilters have known these dates for more than a year. Many of them have been planning for a long time. They know the things they like to do. They're always on the lookout for new activities. But I'm telling you, the Quilt Show this year it's going on. It's happening. The activities will be happening there at the Executive Inn, at the new convention center that's been newly renovated. Ray Black & Sons took on that project for the city and the county, and it is looking fabulous.
Well, yes, and I know our teachers will so enjoy those new classrooms with new lighting so you can actually see what's on the table. That's actually going to be a wonderful thing that we have that convention center all remodeled.
Yes. It's great. Well, let's start out with some dates. Everybody knows what we're talking about. April 26th through 25th. The 22nd is on a Wednesday.
Right. It starts on Wednesday the 22nd and goes through 5 o'clock on Saturday the 25th. And it's packed full of things. Of course, you know, the first thing the quilters come to see when they come to Paducah are to see the quilts.
Yes.
And we just, a week ago, got the letters out to all the finalists, the semifinalists in that contest. And we'll have nearly 400 quilts. And
Great.
Oh my goodness, are they good quilts. I mean, I can't wait for us to hang them so everybody can come see. They are beautiful quilts this year. You know, every year we say, how can they get better? Every year they seem to get a little bit better. Some of the categories are just outstanding, and I'm sure that a number of probably well-known quilters didn't get in. The competition this year is going to be very stiff.
I remember saying that the prize money had come to $1 million, and now I'm thinking, how long ago was that? Because did I read it's $2.5 million in cash will have been given when this show, after the awards.
Actually, it's the 2009 shows.
Yes.
So as we get through our 25th year,
right.
we will have awarded more than $2.5 million.
That's unbelievable. That is truly celebrating the art of quilting.
Well, and you know, a lot of that we have to give credit to our wonderful sponsors, because those people, those manufacturing companies who sponsor this event, that money all goes right back to the quilters. That doesn't go to AQS at all. In fact, AQS puts some money into that.
Yes.
But certainly that we have to say thank you to, I think we're now up to 42 sponsors who help sponsor this event.
And many of them have been there for 25 years.
Actually, I think 24 and 23 was the year. This third year was the year that we picked up a lot of sponsors. I've just been looking at a bunch of data on some of those early years, but many of them have been here nearly the whole time.
23, that's how many I've been to. So yeah, that's amazing. And you know, I think from the very start, Paducah was full. Quilters filled the hotels. Now here we are filling hotel rooms within a 70-mile range. And I know people who are watching this are going to say, oh, well, we heard you need hotel rooms. Well, Paducah is full. And yes, in the surrounding area it is full. And I invite anybody to go onto our website, paducah.travel, click on AQS Quilt Show, and there is a list of available accommodations. And we keep it up, and you know, anytime you've got 35,000 people making reservations, a certain amount are going to have family, you know, as something come up and can't make it. So now is when some of those rooms are loosening up. And you do hear from rooms here and there, and we try to keep it updated. Paducah has been fabulous about opening homes for the quilters, bed and breakfast style. When you're watching this, please know everyone who has applied through our office who would like to stay in a home, because it's not for everybody, even though it's been a great project, that we've placed everyone right now, today, as we're filming this, but that doesn't mean tomorrow 5 more people might call. We've got a good stack of homes willing to open their bedrooms for quilters, but we'll still take your name. We'll still put you on the list, send you an application, and keep you in our inventory, because you just never know when the right person will come along.
Do you know, just yesterday I was online helping someone find that list, and the bulk of the rooms right now, except for a few smattered rooms here and there, are about 57 miles out.
Yes, but you can check it. We sit here and say that, and then at the office they may be updating it that 10 rooms came available here or there. So you just don't know, but they can always check that if you have a question. But like I said, you know, call our office, 1-800-PADUCAH, if you have any questions. But people are happy, and you know what? They're glad to be in Southern Illinois. They're glad to be right in this area, because our whole area is so welcoming and is just so full of the art of quilting. Everywhere you turn. And it's exciting. Well, let's go over some of the activities. You know, the first thing I saw here is there is insurance appraisal before the show even starts over at the Quilt Museum.
Yes, that's a program that we run here every year. It's part of our appraisal certification program. And so always at this show, we run the 2-day appraisal program, and then they have a fair market appraisal that's a 1-day. So that starts on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. On Friday, they do a program for those who are already certified. That's a special continuing ed class. And then on Saturday, they're testing for more certified appraisers. So we use those rooms over at the Quilt Museum for most of that program.
If someone has a quilt at home that they'd like to get appraised, there is a time, I believe, when they can get that done. I can't put my finger on it, but you know what?
I can put my finger on that.
I should have known.
It's actually in the 4,000s. Certified appraisers will be doing that on Thursday from 6 until 9, and Friday and Saturday from 9 until 4 in the Alban Barkley room there at the Executive Inn. So we'll have certified appraisers there all that time. There is a number, too, in our registration guide that they can call and make an appointment, or they can just drop in and they'll do it as time allows.
That's great, because there's a lot of people who'd like to know what the value of some of the quilts they might have collected or inherited.
Well, and they need to know there is a charge for that service.
Yes.
It costs $50, and that's actually a relatively small fee as appraisals go for quilts that may be very valuable.
That's great. Well, it's a good way to kick off, get those people in here taking those classes, but that's just the beginning of it. How many classes do you think are being offered?
Oh, we're like about 120 counting our lectures.
Sure.
And you know what? They're almost full. The other day I counted and there were 30 empty seats all together.
Out of 100
You know, there'd be
classes.
like maybe 2 in this class and 1
Sure.
in this class. We just have really had a tremendous response this year. Now, whether that's because we chose good classes or we just have people that are really interested in education, I don't know the answer to that, but they certainly have filled the classes this year.
Well, I think that's a combination of those, but the good choice of classes and the teachers, the teachers are good year after year, names that are known not just nationally but internationally.
Well, and you know, we have some really special teachers this year, because we have invited all of the past Best of Show winners to be our guests at this 25th anniversary, and we also invited them to do some teaching if they so chose. And about half of them,
Sure.
I think probably we have about 8 or 9 that are teaching. And so we put underneath their name in the registration guide, Best of Show winners, so that people would know these are one of the people that have been honored as the cream of the crop. And you want to go learn what they have to say.
Oh my goodness, you sure do. And I guarantee those classes are pretty close to full.
Oh, they were some of the earliest full.
I'm
Yes,
sure.
yes,
Wow.
very much so.
Well, let's kind of run over the schedule with now Tuesday night before. There's always a sneak preview, and we're still doing the sneak preview.
Yes, we've changed that a little bit because of our celebration this year. We'll be doing the All-Star Review on Tuesday afternoon from 2 till 4.
And that's fun.
And that's fun, and they just move around the room watching these demonstrations at their own speed. And then the sneak preview is going to be a little earlier. We're going to do it from 6:30 till 8:30 instead of 7 to 9 like we've done in the past. And so that will, if you come to the sneak preview, you will be the first to learn who the winners are, because we're not doing the awards that evening. See, normally we did the awards and then we did the sneak preview and we announced it at the awards. This time we're doing the sneak preview, which is a benefit for the Quilt Museum. There's a $25 admission, but that money goes to support the Quilt Museum. And then on Wednesday night, we're going to do our big AQS 25th anniversary celebration over at the Four Rivers Center. And so there, of course, our sponsors will hand out the awards, and we're going to honor those Best of Show winners, and then we have some other surprises in store, so that'll be a special evening.
I always like the award ceremony, and it's an annual event that we go as a staff from the Visitors Bureau, and it's just nothing like the names being called out, and it just like The Price is Right, a squeal goes up and the quilter runs to the front, and they're not all women. There are the men out there as well, but it's just so exciting, and their friends that have all come, and everybody's just cheering. So it's a good time.
Yes, it is, and actually there's, I was a winner once, and so I found out by standing at the door of the second floor of the convention center when that was the main area. Yes. And it was way back in 1986 when they printed the winners list separately, and they handed me the show book and the winners list, and I'm looking down it to see if I know anybody. And there on that list was my name.
Oh, no.
Well, of course, I squealed,
I
just
bet
like
you
these
did.
ladies
I
did.
bet you did.
Well, and so then, of course, I had to go to the awards presentation and everything to participate in that. But that was a real thrill. And so, having been there, I know exactly how those ladies feel.
You, over these years, you've just got friends all around the world, don't you?
Oh, I do. And I tell our staff, where else could you work? And you get to talk to somebody, and maybe today it's in Korea, and this afternoon you're talking to somebody in Australia and South Africa. And this year we had quilt entries from 14 other countries.
Wow.
Yes, 48 states. The only ones missing, and people always ask me that, were West Virginia and North Dakota.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and so we have to beef up those
We're gonna
quilters
have
out there
to. I
in
know
those
it.
two states.
Gosh.
Yes.
All right, well, let's see. What else have we got? So
Okay.
the next day, it starts off bright and early. The classes start a little bit earlier than the doors open, but every day the doors open at 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Classes start at 8:30. So they come in and get in their classes, and then we get the doors open. Yes.
Everybody always says about parking, and I tell them if you see a parking space on your way in, just park and start walking. But if you go early, you can get in the parking lot. I've always had good luck.
Well, yes, I go early, but I'm not going to tell people how early because I don't want them to take my space.
I know.
But, okay, let's move on because, we also have then on Wednesday, we start Wednesday off with the silent auction for the Quilt Museum. And this year we're going to be doing that in the game room there in the hotel. Okay. So it's where the shops area at the one end where they have the games. Yes. So we just called it the game room so everybody would know exactly where that is.
Oh, and there's good items in there.
Oh, yes. And, they always have some quilts and baskets of things. And I've donated a bunch of stuff this year, too, so to kind of help them out.
Being a non-quilter, I think I donated some antique scissors.
Oh, well, those were probably snapped up. Okay, and then that afternoon, we have Nancy Zeman from PBS, the Sewing with Nancy show. She's going to be one of our fashion judges, but on Wednesday afternoon, she's going to be doing an afternoon tea with us. Now, we do have some items or some different events that we've had to move. We'd scheduled some events in the showroom. And this afternoon tea is the first event that we're moving out of the showroom. They had some water damage in there, and we really felt like that the people that are over there working on the hotel needed to put their effort into into the rooms for our guests, rather than we have other places we could do the events that were in the showroom, and not put that pressure on them. So this is the first one, and we're going to hold it in the rear section of the patio restaurant.
Okay.
This is at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so the restaurant shouldn't be terribly busy, and so I think we'll be able to get by doing that. Then, of course, Wednesday evening is our anniversary celebration and reception at the Four Rivers Center. And then we move on to Thursday, and they have another day of silent auction, but all of the items in the silent auction will be new on Thursday, so they won't be the same. Okay. They will sell off the ones that are bid on Wednesday, and have a whole new group of items.
It's a great idea.
On Thursday afternoon. And they close that at 2 o'clock because that evening they have the live auction, and this is another event that we've moved from the showroom over to the Four Rivers Center. We'll be doing the live auction, the viewing of the items from 3 till 4, and from 4 to 6 we will have the live auction.
And there are always some good deals. You're helping the Quilt Museum, but it's your chance for anybody locally who would like to build a quilt collection. Oh, I know, you go in, there's some people in town, and you go into their homes now and you say, oh my gosh, where did you get these quilts? The quilt auction. Yes. Yes. It's the place to do it.
Well, they always know I'm good for a couple quilts.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm not even asked how many quilts you have.
Okay, also on Thursday evening we have the quilt art autograph party, and that too will be in the game room there at the hotel. Claudine Hansen, who coordinates all of the quilts that go into that engagement calendar, brings in as many of the quilters whose quilts are in there for autographs. And they just have kind of like a little party. There'll be punch and some quilts to see, and it's just kind of a fun time. And then that evening we have Eleanor Burns. Eleanor Burns will be doing live on stage 30 years of Eleanor Burns. You know, she was the queen of the rotary cutter from the very early days. And she loves to be on stage and share some of the tips and things that she's picked up over the years. That too will be not at the showroom like is in our registration guide, but we've moved that also over to the Four Rivers Center. So the Thursday activities of the auction and Eleanor Burns will be at the Four Rivers Center. And we've also arranged bus transportation so that 45 minutes before the start of these events, the buses will leave the bus stop, which is right in front of the Executive Inn, out there on the corner of 4th and Executive Boulevard, and transport the people directly over to the Four Rivers Center.
Of course, and if you can just hightail it over there. If you're a good walker, it's just not very far at all. So we're very fortunate.
That's right. If they go down 2nd Street, you're almost there.
That's right.
Well, then on Saturday, or on Friday too, the museum has some special things that they're doing. One of the, actually there are 2 new books being published for this year's quilt show. One is a book featuring the 25 Best of Show winners, and the other one is the whole collection of the Quilt Museum. And they will be having some book signings on Friday from 10 till 12. And then in the afternoon, that contest that they do every year, and this year the theme was Burgoyne Surrounded.
I'm glad you said that. I wasn't sure how to pronounce it.
Burgoyne Surrounded. Anyway, there were some really interesting quilts in that contest because they always want them to kind of step outside the box. They will have the book of that contest over there from 1 to 3, and we'll be doing some autograph sessions.
Actually, one of my favorite exhibits is always when they do new quilts from an old favorite, because it is so just taking something so traditional and just tweaking it.
Yes, and you kind of recognize what's in there, but then, okay, what did they do? Expand it, skew it, stretch it? What did they do?
It's hard to figure out sometimes.
Right.
Well, the next Friday night's one of my favorite things.
Yes, well, let's not skip Friday afternoon.
Yes.
We're going to go to the fashion show first.
Oh, well, that also is one of my favorites.
Well, and you know, this is the 23rd year for the fashion show. That's a long time.
It is.
To have Hobbs and Bernina have sponsored that since the very beginning. And that's from 1 till 3 on Friday afternoon.
Still tickets?
There still are some tickets for that.
Oh, that's a good one.
And so that is, again, at the Four Rivers Center. And then Ricky Timms is our Friday night entertainment. And entertain he does.
Ricky, what a personality. He really is. And such talent in so many areas. His music is beautiful that he writes and plays, and his quilts, and he's just fun.
Well, and you know what? He always has stories.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
and because he does a lot of traveling now, you know, he could write a book of just his stories, I think.
Well, he's my Facebook friend, so I love keeping up with him.
Oh, is he? Okay.
It's been fun. But he's just, and you know, a real fan of Paducah and AQS.
Yes.
A good friend.
Well, do you know, in many ways, we sort of gave him his start of performing at different quilt shows when years ago we asked him to be the entertainment at the judges' intermission at the fashion show. And I remember saying to him, Ricky, I only need 30 minutes, just
Gosh.
30 minutes. Well, he just set the place on fire. They
Sure.
loved him, and they've loved him ever since. Yeah.
If
And
you're-
then our final event for the week, we kind of close out our Saturday with brunch and fun with Helen Squire. And those of you who don't know Helen, she is an extremely fun lady. And
She
again, you
is.
talk about stories. She has great stories. But Helen lives right here in Paducah, but she travels all over the world teaching and lecturing. And anyway, we're thrilled to have her be our speaker for our brunch on Saturday.
I usually catch up with her at Barkley Regional Airport as she's catching a flight out, and I happen to be on that flight, and I'm just amazed where she is traveling to, promoting quilting. It's amazing.
Yes, yes. Well, and so then we have our lecture series, which we have lectures that are going on every day. And again, we've changed the location. In the past, we used the showroom for that. But I had already scheduled these just in case we weren't able to use the showroom. In the Eisenhower room, which is our biggest classroom that's on the first floor of the convention center. And so that'll be all new and bright and new everything in it. And so that will make a wonderful lecture room for us this year.
The lectures, besides being in this one, are in the other smaller meeting rooms upstairs and downstairs.
The classes.
The classes.
The classes are all, except for the few that we have over at the museum.
Right.
All of the classes are on the first and second floors of the convention center.
And then the lectures in the Eisenhower room.
And the lectures are
Right.
in the Eisenhower room.
Now, the layout of the vendors, the Expo Center, the newest, biggest building, farthest from the hotel, is where the best of show will be.
Yes, that's where the large quilts
The
are.
large quilts.
And so right in the middle of the room will be the best of show, the best hand workmanship, best machine workmanship, the best long arm workmanship. And we also have the miniatures in that area. We have those in cases, and so you'll get to see the best miniature quilt. And you know, I don't know if people know, but those best that I just referred to there are purchase awards. And so if the quilter chooses to take the cash, which for best to show is just a mere $20,000, then that quilt goes to the collection over at the Quilt Museum. And so that's how we build that collection, is by those purchase awards. And of course, you know, I have a quilt in the museum, and you know, I really feel like it's an honor to have it there where it will be preserved for all time. Now, I could certainly do better work than I did when I made that quilt back in the 80s. But you know what? It's kind of like a time span of what's happened to quilting over the years.
Which is why we have the museum.
That's
So you
correct.
can see that very thing.
Yes.
So you've got the Expo Center. Then you
Yes.
come over into the Carroll Convention Center, newly renovated, and you have on the first floor.
All right, on the first floor we have some special exhibits, and I want to tell you about one of those, but we have some special exhibits, and then surrounding those exhibits we have more vendors. One of the special exhibits that we have this year is Pojagi. That's Pojagi.
Okay.
And it's a Korean patchwork technique that I actually saw it in Japan when I was over there on one of my trips. And it's a single layer of fabric with all of the seams completely finished, so that you could turn it over reversed. And so like each seam you stitch about 3 or 4 times to be able to turn and seal all those edges so that they're all stitched down. It's absolutely beautiful. And probably the premier expert in this country is Chung-Yi Lee, who is a professor in New Jersey at a college. And so she is curating these pieces of Pojagi. They will be from Germany, Switzerland, Korea,
Wow.
Japan, and the U.S. And it's going to be a really fun, it'll be like introducing that
Sure.
technique to our quilters.
Oh, that's a great one. I can't wait to see that on the first floor. Upstairs, more vendors. Upstairs there are the wall hanging
The
quilts.
wall quilts, and of course we'll have the best wall quilts, and then the ones that have gotten the top awards will be featured up there as well.
instead of going all the way to the pool land, above and down in the cave underneath the pool, all of those vendors will be in what were the shops, the Galleria area, and that has become like an extra convention space in the hotel with this renovations and cleanup that's going on.
Yes,
and
they've
that's very
already torn.
exciting.
They've already torn out all those
Sure.
shops. Well, it looks like 2 huge football fields in there now because it is a huge space. But that will be filled with the vendors that we had at the pool, swimming
Sure,
pool.
sure.
The ones that were what people referred to as the dungeon downstairs.
But they're great vendors.
They're the great vendors, but they lived in the dungeon. They will be in the Galleria. Also, the vendors that we had last year on Park Avenue
Yes.
will also be there.
there.
So we
It's
were
big
able to
space.
bring them all into that area. Also, those little offices where
Right.
they rented spaces before.
Mm-hmm.
They've torn out the inside walls of that area. And, they're going to remodel this whole thing when they do their total remodel anyway, so it had to be gutted somehow.
Sure.
This just made it so that we had plenty of space to be able to bring those vendors in right close, right there next to the patio restaurant.
That's very exciting. Everything
Yes.
will be much more condensed, less walking, but there still will be vendors in the old Finkel building on Kentucky Avenue. Close to the Carson Center will be so many overflow activities. And my goodness, we didn't even talk about the rest of the community. So many other community events to complement the quilt show. From the arts presentations here at the college, Bye Bye Birdie.
Bye Bye Birdie.
Don't you remember?
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Remember the first time you saw Bye Bye Birdie, to the Yiser Art Center, to the Rotary Quilt Show. How could we forget there at the Robert Cherry Civic Center? The shuttle buses, they will be running just like before. The buses may be different. They're larger buses by Anchor Tours, but I think everything's going to work out well. PATS will have the ability, Paducah Area Transit, to do much more of the taxi type service with Dial-A-Ride, which I think is going to be a real complement to this
Yes.
show and getting people around.
Yes. And we haven't talked a bit about the food, but I do want to just briefly
Yes.
tell you.
Oh, it's pretty quick.
That Tim Crehan from Florida, who is a very famous chef, he and his team will be up here coordinating and cooking all of the food in the restaurants, for the concession stands. We still will have our food vendors outside like we've had before.
Good. Strawberry shortcake.
Strawberry shortcake, ribs, all of that
that's right.
stuff. The kettle corn.
Larry, Daryl, and Daryl,
Yep,
as always, there.
they'll
The Boy
all be
Scouts.
there.
That'll be great. Backyard burgers. Usually are out there.
Yes, I
they're
think
gonna be there.
everybody who was there
Good.
before has been invited to be back
Oh
there
my
again.
gosh. Please go to paducah.travel so you can get these details. There are links to AQS website. We want you to be in the know because I know you've got friends from all over asking you what's going on. We want you to be in the know. Hope we'll see you down at the newly renovated Carroll Convention Center. Don't forget, everything is April 22nd through the 25th. Daily, it's 9 to 6, except for Saturday, it ends at 5. Hope we'll see you there. Please, like I said, give us a call at 1-800-PADUCAH if you have a question. Bonnie, there's so much more. Thank you for your years of being here with AQS, making this a success. You make it seem so easy.
Oh, and you know what? Who else gets paid for doing such a fun job?
That's exactly right. And check Bonnie's blog. It's really fun. You can keep up. Thanks for joining us.